Welcome back to the CryptoWorld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, both Bitcoin and Ethereum are running into short-term support after the recent rejection from resistance, which I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, just giving you a quick update here on the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is still playing out this short-term rejection from this large area of resistance in between 28,000 to 30.5k. And once again, as I've explained in previous videos here on the channel, this large area of resistance stems from the larger timeframes like this 3-day Bitcoin chart, because as you can see here, this large area of resistance also acted as support throughout early 2021 and also in mid-2022. But obviously over the last 1 to 2 months, this has been mostly acting as resistance for the price of Bitcoin, which presents a significant obstacle here on the larger timeframes. But with that being said, if you're looking at the higher low, higher high price structure, technically speaking, this is still currently a larger bullish trend here on the larger timeframes. And once again, as I've explained over and over again here on the channel, just because we see some short-term bearish price action, that doesn't necessarily invalidate the larger bullish trend, because of course we did see that back during late February and early March, and obviously that occurred within this larger bullish trend. And so the invalidation signals that I'll be watching for this bullish trend would be a confirmed break back below around 24,000, because at that stage we're starting to break below previous highs. Also, 24 to 25k is a significant technical level on the chart. And at that stage, if we see a pullback below 24,000, then that would be a larger pullback from high to low than what we saw back during around February and March. Because what we saw back then was around a 22 to 23% pullback from high to low. And if we measure around the same sized pullback from this local high, then a 22% pullback would put the price of Bitcoin right at around $24,000. And so even if we see a pullback all the way back down towards 24k, once again, that would be around the same sized pullback to what we saw back here during late February and early March. And once again, that still occurred within this larger trend. But with that being said, even though we're still technically within a larger bullish trend, obviously we can experience short-term bearish price action, which on smaller time frames looks like short-term bearish trends. And I'll talk more about that in just a moment, but first quickly mentioning these daily Bitcoin price oscillators. First of all, the daily Bitcoin RSI is technically still in a higher low, higher high structure. But with that being said, over the last 1 to 2 days with this recent rejection from resistance, this has obviously helped to reset the RSI, which technically is trending towards more neutral rather than overly bullish. And something similar can be said about the daily Bitcoin MACD, because obviously this is still sitting in the green if you're looking at the histogram as of right now. But with that being said, over the last 1 to 2 days, the momentum has been declining in the histogram within the MACD indicator, which once again points towards lower momentum, which is why I'm starting to lean more neutral again on the daily time frame. And this is also because here on the 8-hour Bitcoin to US dollar chart, over the last 1 day, we have obviously seen a break back below this price area, which was briefly acting as support, sitting in between around 27.2k to 27.6k. And we have also now seen a retest confirming this area as new resistance, similar to what we saw back here around 1 to 2 weeks ago. And obviously back then, the price in terms of the trend and momentum wasn't really bullish or bearish. We were simply in a sideways price range. And so once again, as I just said earlier, this is pointing towards more neutral price action, not overly bullish or overly bearish in terms of the trend. And now obviously this means that we can see both bullish and bearish price action if you want to be more exact about the smaller movements like what we saw in this range. But in terms of the general trend of the price action, right now I'm leaning quite neutral in the shorter term due to this confirmation signal now confirming a break back below that area. And as for support, support and resistance, first of all, we obviously have that area as resistance, as I just said, but above that area, we also have this descending line of resistance currently sitting at around 28,000. And as for support in the shorter term, we have this price range sitting in between around 26.1k to 26.5k. And if you're looking at the 8-hour Bitcoin price oscillators, first of all, the 8-hour Bitcoin MACD just confirmed a new bearish cross, but with that being said, we're seeing relatively low momentum. And so once again, this is another neutral signal pointing towards some sort of sideways price range like what we saw back here. But if you're looking at the 8-hour Bitcoin RSI, technically speaking, this is more bullish rather than just neutral or bearish, because essentially this is still trending in the bullish direction if you're looking at the lows and the highs, for example. And obviously it was only just a few days ago that we saw this bullish divergence here on the 8-hour Bitcoin chart. But overall, this all balances out to be quite neutral in the short term in terms of the trend and momentum, because obviously we have that short-term bearish signal of the price breaking back below this area, but we also have the RSI technically looking more bullish than bearish, while the MACD is showing relatively low momentum. And so as I just said, this is all pointing towards some sort of sideways price range in the shorter term, like what we saw back here. And now if you want to know how to make a lot of money quite easily in a choppy sideways price range like this, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But first, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And right now, as of recording this video, the price of ETH is still trading above this area of support, sitting in between around 1770 to 1820. And now if we were to see a confirmed break below that area of support, then the next area of support on the daily time frame is sitting in between around 1650 to 1.7k. And now even if we saw a drop all the way down to 1650 to 1.7k, that would simply be the same sized pullback from this local high to that area as to what we saw back here, back during late February and early March. And obviously that of course was short-term bearish price action, but with that being said, that did not necessarily invalidate the larger multi-month long bullish trends that we've been seeing since November last year. And so once again, at least as of right now, considering we have not yet invalidated the larger higher low, higher high price structure here on the daily time frame, as of right now, we are still technically within this larger bullish trend. But this does not mean no bearish price action, because once again, we can still see short-term bearish price action within a larger bullish trend. And now if you're taking a look at the daily Ethereum price oscillators, technically speaking, these are still looking more bullish than bearish, because as of right now, the daily Ethereum RSI is still currently forming higher lows and higher highs in the shorter term, while the daily Ethereum MACD, even though it has lost a little bit of bullish momentum over the last 1 to 2 days, this is still yet to confirm a bearish cross again. So at least for now, it is technically still looking more bullish than bearish. But if you zoom into a smaller time frame like this 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, obviously just recently the price has been looking a little bit bearish in the short term due to this rejection from resistance. And first of all, we have this horizontal area of resistance sitting in between around 1920 to 1950. And on top of that, we now have this descending line of resistance currently sitting at around 1890 approximately. And as for support in the short term, right now the price is running into this area of support sitting in between around 1830 to 1860. But if we end up seeing a confirmed break back below 1830, then in that case, I'll be flipping more neutral in the short term in terms of the trend and momentum, because we would essentially be breaking back into this sideways price range. And in that case, the next level of support to the downside would be sitting at around 1760. But at least as of right now, while the price of ETH is still holding above this price area, technically speaking, we are still looking more bullish than bearish or neutral in the short term in terms of the trend and momentum, which once again can still contain some bearish price action, just as long as we're still forming higher lows and higher highs and basically trending in the bullish direction. But in order to see the next leg to the upside in this shorter term bullish trend, we would need to see a confirmed breakout, first of all, above this descending line of resistance, once again at 1890, and ideally above this area of resistance in order to really set up the next leg to the upside. And so soon enough, at some point within the next few days, the price will need to decide whether we're breaking to the downside below this support or above this descending line of resistance. And so essentially over the next few days, we're looking at a decision where the price will either continue the short-term bullish trend or flip more neutral again back into this sideways price range. And if you're looking at the 8-hour Ethereum price oscillators, as of right now, the 8-hour Ethereum MACD is looking very neutral already because we have recently seen another bearish cross. But with that being said, we're still seeing very low momentum like what we saw at this previous bearish cross. But if you're looking at the 8-hour Ethereum RSI, this is technically looking more bullish than bearish because it is trending to the upside, forming higher lows and higher highs. And so overall, once again, we are technically still looking a little bit more bullish than neutral or bearish in the short term for the price of ETH. But very soon, at some point in the next few days, we will have a decision here. We will have a critical moment in the short term where the price will decide to either flip more neutral again or continue the bullish trend. And obviously, we still need to wait for that confirmation signal, whichever way we go. And now, believe it or not, you don't actually need to know which direction the price will take in order to make money on that next move if you watch these videos popping up right here on your screen, because the video in the top left of your screen shows you how to make money automatically using artificial intelligence, and the video in the bottom left of your screen shows you how to make money in a choppy sideways price range quite easily. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.